this. All right, I am super excited for this call today, guys. I just want to welcome everybody. If you're being here right now, if you're catching the live, appreciate you. If you're on the recording, you found this on YouTube, we appreciate you. For those that do not know, this call is called Zoom to Success. The whole purpose of these, you guys being here, is to build your belief, keep you guys on track, and really help you get better results, specifically in trading. But you guys will find and really see that this is going to empower you and impact you on a mental and emotional and spiritual aspect. So take some notes, get a pen and paper out, write down anything that really sticks out to you, any questions you have, and make sure that you guys really review this stuff, because the people that we have on here, like, they've gone through the ringer. You know, they've seen a lot of what this company and what this platform has really been able to do for them. And we want to make sure that their stories, their testimonies, you're able to relate. You're able to say, you know what, this person that's gone through XYZ, I'm going through that right now, and it's okay. If you're feeling certain ways, it's normal. If you're on, big wins and a lot of success, that's amazing, right? But we want to really dial back in, align ourselves, and really center ourselves with what we're doing, why we're doing it, and where we're going. So for those of you that don't know, my name's Abigail Poston. I'm 26 years old. I'm out here in, it's cloudy today, but sunny Arizona. I'm originally from Maryland. And I just want to tell you guys, I've been a part of this platform, IM Academy, for the last 3.5, almost 4 years this coming fall, winter. So I'm really excited. It's been such a journey for me with the trading side and really being able to empower myself on a financial level. And I know, if you're just starting your journey out, we welcome you. Super excited you made that decision. And, if you've been here for a minute, maybe it's been 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, we got people in here for quite some time. Just know that you're on the right track, whether you're trying to continue to build the results that you already have, or, you're trying to really take your life to the next level. You're in the right place. Just stay focused, stay consistent, stay coachable. So really quickly, guys, I just want to cover a couple things, and we're going to get right into this. It is Sunday. I know a lot of times people like to spend or take this day to really reflect, refocus, redial in, and honestly spend time with the ones that they love. So I want to make this call maybe about 25, 30 minutes. We'll see where you guys are at with Rachelle really throwing down. I'm really excited to hear from her. So first things first, guys, these calls, again, like I said, are really here to build your belief. But I want to just say, so everybody's on the same track, I'm going to just share my screen just for a second. I know we might have some new people on here. And okay. All right, let's try this. All right. So hopefully all of you guys have seen this already. It's the im.center. This is just a refresher for those of you that are going through your process. You're within your first, few days, few weeks, few months. This is so critical that you guys get this down. Make sure if you still have questions, you can ask on here. We'll try to answer them. But get back with the person that, has shared this with you. The biggest thing, guys, you want to make sure that you're actually going through the actual academy. You come on here, im.center, you log in, and you want to go through this. Most of us are rocking with the FRX. You want to start right here and go through the first 100 and 200 series. Honestly, you can bang this out within your first couple hours. Seriously, take the quiz, rock through this, feel comfortable. And once you feel confident enough, you really build that foundation, move on to go live, okay? Move on to go live. And I'll just show you that really quickly. This is part 2. And this is honestly where you're going to be most of the time. This is where you're going to get that live mentorship, that guided analysis, the Q&As, the community, all that good stuff. You come, honestly, right here. Are you a new member? And you should have that blueprint. Guys, if you don't have the blueprint, that welcome guide, make sure you ask the person that you're rocking with right now to send that to you, because that's going to be like, honestly, like your syllabus as you go through this. So if you have any questions, you can always reference that. And obviously, you have this community of people to help and support you. So I just want you guys to know, I say this all the time, you guys are here for a reason. It's a Sunday, 12 p.m. out here in Arizona, 3 p.m. Eastern. If you guys are out overseas, it's 9 p.m., it's 8 p.m. So we appreciate you for being here. So let's get into it, y'all. I'm excited. So first things first, guys, we're going to go over a few questions, okay? We're going to do this a little differently. The last couple weeks have been kind of off of what we normally do. So we want to kind of recenter with everyone that we're doing this with. But I want to bring up our special guest today. Some of you guys know who she is. Some of you, this is going to be your first time hearing from her. She has a special place in my heart. She's somebody that I've been able to really see grow just over the last year. Meeting her last summer. I've been able to really see her come in here, and I think we're going to be a little bit more transparent on this call because her journey, is going to be super relatable to a lot of people, and that's why I'm really excited, because a lot of times we come into this and anything in life, right, expecting to succeed right away, expecting to make money right away, expecting to see the results that we want to see right away, and it's not all rainbows and butterflies. It's not all sunshine, right? We have our trials and tribulations. We have our setbacks. We have our pain and our problems and our challenges, our doubts, our frustrations. And it's not all, it's not all pretty. And this individual that's going to come on here is going to be able to really kind of paint that picture and show you guys that's normal and that's okay. But this is how I'm going to continue and am continuing to get better and following suit regardless of my circumstances, regardless of the things that I'm experiencing. And I'm going to put my head down and I'm going to go out and get after it. So with that being said, guys, this individual has empowered me, whether she realizes it or not, has empowered me in so many ways. Your energy is just so contagious. I light up every time I see you. And I know the impact that you're already having on people that you're surrounding yourself with. And guys, she just got her membership for free. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So give her a round of applause, guys. Type some ones in the chat. I want to give it up for Rachel. Crook girl, if you're on here, please go ahead and unmute yourself.
I'm like, wait, can you see me? Oh, I could see myself. Holy moly. I was like, woo. I was trying to think of my entrance.
Oh, girl, you are good. You are good. We can see you. We can hear you loud and clear. You got the nice headphones on. You ready to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, all right, let's get into this. If you want to kick it off by just kind of sharing, who you are, a little bit about yourself, and how long, you've been with I Am.
Yeah. All right. So you guys can hear me? We're good? All right. Thank you. Let me just give it back to Abby real quick because that intro was amazing. I feel super special. I'm really hyped up right now. I almost started crying. I was like, woo. But yeah, no, Abby, thank you so much for having me on here. I am actually really, really excited to finally be able to share my story. I know I haven't been able to be in front of people like this yet and actually get really vulnerable and transparent. So super excited, and thank you so much for the support as always. Honestly, I wouldn't be here without you, obviously. But again, hi everybody. My name is Rachel. I've been part of I Am since since May 2019. I do want to backtrack a little bit just to share why I'm here and how I got here. Obviously, growing up in an Asian household, mostly all we know is hey, get good grades, go to school, be somewhere in the medical field, and that's how I thought my route was going to be for a long time. I actually didn't even think it was an option for anything else, even if I was really interested in it to begin with. So I ended up going to school for biochemistry. Probably 2 years in, I realized, hey, maybe this isn't for me. And the reason why I want to share that is because it's going to be confusing for a really long time. You might not always know what path you're on, and it really just takes people sharing this idea, because you don't know what you don't know. And back then, I really didn't know any of this stuff. But I ended up dropping out because I got introduced to another similar concept and opportunity at the time that I believe was the path for me. And unfortunately that fell through. So I kind of went back to what I thought, what I knew again. So I ended up going back to school for nursing. A lot of my family members are nurses. I'm Filipino, so it's kind of like initiation into adulthood is finally being able to be a nurse. So basically I ended up doing that. At the time, this was even before last year, I was going to school full time. It was in an accelerated program. I was actually working from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. about 7 days a week with 2 jobs going straight to the next one after the other. And when I was introduced to this, I met Tony. I actually didn't even know what it was to begin with. I knew he was working on something cool. He didn't tell me. That was probably him piquing my interest, but but I started surrounding myself with him because I was really interested. My friend Stephanie and I always hung out with him. I was what is this guy doing? Somehow he's still always hanging out with me. Does he even go to work? Like, how is he still good? Because here I am busting my ass trying to like make it with these 2 jobs, going to school and all this stuff. And so I pried him a little bit. I was like, hey, what are you doing? Take me to a meeting, whatever it is, like, I'm down. I'm all in, even like before I knew what it was. So I finally got to an event. It was a training event. It wasn't even an overview. So they were talking about pips and all these things. And I was like, I remember I wrote in my notebook that Tony lent me like 20 times, what's a pip? Find out what a pip is. Like, I just didn't know. So finally I got started. I got get involved with this community here, and that's kind of how I got here. And I don't know what else to say about that. Sorry.
No, you're good. Honestly, guys, there's no right or wrong answer. It's yours. And that's the beautiful part about this is you're genuine, you're transparent, and people can relate, and I think that's the biggest thing is I even felt a little piece of that, for me when I first got started. I'm not going to go into that, but, it's the relatability factor. And it's like, you're not alone. You're in this for yourself, but never by yourself. And you just stay consistent and plug in, like you can win too. So we appreciate you. If you want to maybe just tap in really quickly to that main reason why. I know you talked about you had a couple jobs, you're trying to do the school thing, but what's that real root reason? Like, why did you do this of all things? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So to really break it down, I always knew there was like something better out there for me. It was never something that really appealed to me that was like, hey, let me go work for the rest of my life and be like tired, because even now at the job that I'm working at now, I like to think I am really good at what I do, and sometimes I am having a lot of fun. But what I realized is, even though I'm having fun, I'm doing a good job, it never compares to the time that I've lost to spend with the people that I love and do the things that I love. So this really just is able to give me my time back to do more of what I want to do.
So I think that is, again, one of the huge reasons why people do this too is we want time freedom. We want financial freedom. We want to live life on our own terms and really, I think the biggest thing what people don't really realize, they say they want to do this for the money, but like what that really means is I want to feel like I'm a part of something bigger than myself. I want that feeling of, fulfillment. Like I've had withdrawals, and I'm sure so many other people on here have as well. Like I've had trading withdrawals, and it's like, all right, this is awesome. But when you get texts and phone calls from people of like, you've changed my life, you've totally shifted my, my perspective, you've completely, changed everything for me. That's the best part about this. And I'm already seeing that with you, girl. And I'm excited to see what you continue to do, because I don't know if you know this, but you spit some fire. And that's why I'm really excited about this call, because people don't know that. And the more that you share your story and the more that you continue to pour value into yourself and you share that with others, you're going to give the beautiful gift of your story and your experience with others and just empower them. So let's get into the actual like platform itself. Because I know we want to hear from you with this, but we know that this, this whole academy is so much more than just trading and making money. So I really wanted you to dive in and kind of share with us, what else do you get from this academy, from the platform itself?
Honestly, I know it's like one thing to have the education and the tools, but a big part of the platform is just having that belief in yourself and a good mindset that like, hey, I can accomplish a lot of things. And the fact that a lot of the people who are involved with IM, they're on the same route. Like we're all plugging into the same things. It's not only the education and the videos, it's things like this, where we're personally working on our own personal development with other people who we relate with, kind of like what you were saying earlier. And I'm sorry, what was the typical Rachel?
No, you're cool. No, I was just asking, what else do you get from the platform? More than just trading, what else do you really take away from it?
Yeah, and I think that really gets into the whole like feeling like I'm part of something bigger. It's even one thing like going to the events and actually being surrounded by all the people with the same energy. That's honestly pumped me up. You've known it. you know how like loud I could get in the crowd, and it builds my belief system, and I feel like that's the biggest thing for me, and just trying to grow some way, shape, or form every single day, whether it's plugging into a go live, whether it's looking at like a tool that's available to me, or just being part of the community.
Yeah, definitely. Community is a huge one. Building our belief. I think that's that in a nutshell. Like that was it for me. Is the community was constantly plugging into that was building my belief, and the more that I strayed away, the more I found myself not only in like uncertain situations, but I was very uncertain about myself. And the more that I was, able to get around the campfire, I know it's super cliche to say, but like you said, the more that we're around that, we continue to build our beliefs, whether it's going to events, plugging into the Go Live sessions, on these calls like this, it's just adding to our individual fire. So I love that, girl. So since you've been with the academy so far, I'd love to hear, and I know everybody else would, just for that perspective, especially if you're new, you're probably in transition from the basics educators to more intermediate and advanced. What can you share about, the educators and the tools that you have found to be the most helpful?
Yeah, so for me, this is actually what I really want to be able to talk about on the call, and I really hope that I'm able to resonate with a lot of the newer people, because in the past few weeks, like leading up to today, I keep hearing this thing that people are like, "Hey, relaunched, you just relaunched," or "This is your day one," and for me, I feel like I'm a new trader. I know I've been part of the platform since earlier last year, but it was a process for me. I know, even like you said, it was that whole belief system to before you were actually able to do something with trading itself, and that's like a big thing for me. Honestly, I wasn't able to believe in myself for a really long time up until recently, and let me look at this question again. I'm sorry. The thing is, the belief, let me go back because I'm like getting confused now. The belief thing is huge. And the reason why is because I've been plugging in for an entire year, but I never really did anything with it. And I think the biggest part is actually being consistent with it. And even if you don't understand it yet, just keep showing up, because it's crazy that you might hear things 40, 50, 60 times, and then you still don't get it up until the one point where it's like, oh my God, this makes sense. And it didn't make sense for me for a long time. But now that it does, it's kind of addicting, honestly. The academy, it has everything laid out for you. The educators are obviously pouring not only like the whole education part, but personal development into the live sessions too. And for me, since I like to keep things really simple, and I'm just now starting to dip my toes into like the more experienced things, personally, I've been trying to set my process and use like the harmonic scanner, combined with like pitchforks and the whole like support and resistance price trap thing. So I really like going to Chance and Sam specifically because they're really good for beginners. I feel like with every call, it's as if a new person is watching it. Like they like explaining things in detail, or going back and tying it all together in the end. And then even with Chris Derrick, I feel like it's simple, and that's my process. Is I don't like to go too overcomplicated, and if it works, keep it going. I don't. This isn't something that you need to overcomplicate and know every single detail about. It's just finding a couple of things that work best for you and running with it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to kind of piggyback off of what you said, because your story and your journey so far is unique to you, but it's so relevant to so many other people. And this is the part about these calls that I appreciate so much, and really why we wanted to put these together is because we want to like give the real and the raw. We want to let people know like your journey is not going to be perfect. Your journey is not going to be like, the person to the left or the person to the right of you. You see somebody, crushing it. Don't be envious. Don't, say that you can't do it. Be like, celebrate them. Be like, dang, if they can do that, then I can do it too. But what's the separator between where you are now and where you want to go? That gap is your consistency, like you just said, like your ability to stay coachable and committed. And we say this all the time. The fact that this process is like learning this skill set is just like learning a new language, and anybody can learn a new language. So if you are ever going through a season or a period or a moment of doubt or fear or worry, it's okay. I experience that all the time. Like, it's all good. And I know, Rachel, you being on here and sharing that, I know, we all have experienced that, and it's cool. It's not like abnormal. We're human beings. Like, it's okay. So if you are ever experiencing that, just know, like, probably got to plug back in. Probably got to go back to my source. And every time I plug back into source, just on a spiritual realm, right? My universal energy, whatever you guys believe in, right? This is my source right here. Every time I do plug me back in, I'm like, all right, let's go. It's like a reset. And in these calls, girl, you got me fired up, because this is what people need to hear. You're not going to, like, some people are going to come in here and just absolutely smash it, but you don't know what they've been through previously. And then there's going to be some people like me. It took me like 10 months to believe in myself. I was just kind of going through the motions in the beginning, making some money here and there, but it wasn't ever consistent. But that doesn't mean you give up, because, 3.5 years later, you build a multiple 5-figure, 6-figure account. Who's like, what? You can't do that anywhere else. So it's super powerful. But girl, I appreciate you just sharing that and being able to be real. And transparency is just about giving context, and I appreciate you doing that. But I'd love to hear you dive in to that one part, like the belief factor. I know plugging into the community is important, but what do you think was that like trigger? Because that's the huge question that everybody gets, is like, I'm just not motivated to do certain things. I'm just, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to stay consistent with this or find time. What was that like trigger moment for you, like that light switch on and off, where it was like, I'm tired of doing what I've always done, to I need to do this. I'm going to make it a priority. What did that look like for you, however you want to describe it?
Honestly, I know the whole transition to like quarantine has been hard for a lot of people. And I am really grateful to still be able to have a job and work from home. But it's one thing when you start noticing like how stressed and how attached you're getting to something like a job, when in reality, 20, 40 years from now, what is it really going to give me? It barely even gives me anything that I really want right now. Money wise and time wise, there's a lot of commitment to a lot of other people that don't necessarily care for you in the same way. And not to say that I'm part of like any sort of bad company, because I am really grateful for where I'm at right now. But there was a point in time where like, hey, I'm going over to Tony every like hour or two in tears for some reason, because I get off the phone with someone and it didn't go out like the way that I wanted to. And I know it's pretty like mundane tasks. What I do at work, I call like other business owners, basically like telemarketing, and it's just crazy looking at my life and why I feel this way and then how I'm acting. It was the whole like victim mentality for myself. I just kept pulling myself lower and lower, saying, okay, well, I gotta go do my job. But the problem was I was getting stuck back in the rat race. I get a little too committed to these things that, like I just said, they're not going to have a big connection to me later on. And so the clicking moment for me, I know like a month ago, Tony and I kind of had like a little case of COVID or whatever. And maybe it was the brink of death that I needed to like experience to really understand how valuable my life is and how I'm taking for granted every single day that I am alive and feeling well. Because when I was laying in bed and like feeling super, super tired and fatigued, and I couldn't even control the way I felt, that wasn't a good feeling. And this is something that I can control. I could keep making myself better. I could make myself excited about about trading, about things that I never thought that I was gonna get involved with to begin with. And what I really liked recently is that Tony told me that the same feeling of excitement is anxiety, and I've been feeling a ton of anxiety lately. It's like I was trying to find myself, who I was, because this past year, I know I've been plugging in, I've been getting uh, I've been getting connected with everybody and just trying to keep developing myself personally, but I've really felt like I kept taking steps back. I kept getting in this rut that like, hey, I can't do this. Why am I so stressed out? Why am I crying? And so one day I woke up and I was like, I'm done. I, I literally can't go another day feeling this way and not wanting to get up or not even going outside. And like, I haven't gone outside in months. It's weird. And that really does a toll on you. So just motivation, like, is one thing that it doesn't last, right? You know, you have to stick to your why. And my why really, I've been more clear with it lately, and just realizing where I want to go in the future, where I want to go with my family and with myself. It wasn't aligning with my actions that I was doing the past year. So
Wow. I liked what you said. Girl, that was powerful. That was really powerful. I think some of the biggest things with all that, Tony Robbins said it. You just basically kind of said it too. With you got to like your death, you know, that not that you were dying, but like you got to that point where it was like life or death feeling, and that feeling pushed you into a sense of I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Almost like you're in a, not to get spiritual, but like your soul was suffocating in a way. You know, it's like I can't even breathe and actually continue to move on. And so I feel that. I felt that for such a long time. And it's, you know, we go through the motions and so many different things, and we get disconnected from our why, that we lose sight of, you know, why are we even doing the things in the first place. So guys, this is not a normal trader's call. We're not going on charts or anything. We're giving you real life scenarios, real life experiences and perspective, because when you can take somebody's perspective and their point of view, that's when you can shift the way that you think about things. And if we can shift the way that you think about things, then we can shift your feelings, and then we can shift your actions, and then we can shift your results. And that's the whole point of these calls. So getting different mindsets and perspectives on how to view your life and the situations that you're going through, that's why this is so important. And that's why this can go empower you. But if you're listening with the intent to apply, then you can actually go make changes. If you're just on here, it's like, all right, then you're not going to get anything out of it. But if you really listen with the intent to become better and make better habits, and take even just one nugget, sometimes it's just one nugget that you take away, and it completely shifts your entire mindset. So maybe you're on the brink of desperation and that's what's going to cause you to make a change. Hopefully not. Hopefully you just get inspired and then you make a change that way. So cool, girl. I think we've got enough time to maybe go through one or two more questions, if that's cool with you. I'm going to try to combine this into one. But I do want to hear from you. You guys have a lot of books behind you. If you maybe want to touch on how important is personal development to you, and maybe kind of share a couple things or traits that have really helped you create, you know, your success and where you are right now.
yeah, a big thing for me that I had a realization about too is I kept trying to put too much on my plate, um, and go after this big idea of like of where I wanted to be, when realistically it's just about the little habits and incorporating those into your everyday life until it's normal. Kind of like what you said on the one call a while back, where you every day you wake up, you should only allow yourself to make 3 decisions throughout the day. Everything else should be a habit. Everything should be built into your lifestyle, right? And for me, even personal development is something that I'm still working on. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just a matter of actually engaging yourself, whether it's meditation, whether it's reading a book, listening to an audio, or just talking to somebody about where you want to be and what your goals are, you know. And for me, a lot of times I try to hype myself up and be like, yeah, I'm going to read this book, and then I'm going to read this book, and then I would only really get through like the first 5 pages of each book. So up until now, I really only have like a portion of everything. And I'm not going to get through it in one day. It's a process. It's something that we have to do every single day. So, what was the second part to that question?
Yeah, just a few things that are traits that you think are the most important that have really helped you to get to where you are now, your mindset, and the success that you've been able to create.
Okay. And then to touch on that, I know it's these little things that we keep saying. Sounds cliche or whatever, the whole keeping close to the campfire, but honestly that is one of the biggest things, because like you said, it's either inspiration or desperation that actually like changes things in your life, and it is really hard to stay inspired. So you need to keep like surrounding yourself who have the things that you want or the results that you want, who's acting the way you want, and that ultimately goes into even your own belief in yourself. So
Sorry, I'm trying to unmute myself.
you're good.
Got you, girl. That's awesome. Yeah, I think you guys can get the gist and the theme of really not just all these calls, but this one in particular. Believing in yourself. That's been the biggest. That's been the biggest blind spot for me this entire journey is my lack of belief. But I've realized every time I continue to plug in, whether it's to these calls or live events or go live, which we're bringing it back to trading. If you don't feel like you're moving in the right direction with trading, number one, you should probably take a step back. Number two, you should probably ask yourself, what's my schedule look like? How often am I actually plugging in to these live sessions? Okay. And number three, am I practicing? Am I just plugging in to check it off? Or am I actually plugging in with the intention to practice and apply and track everything to get better? So very, very powerful. Everything is, I believe everything is kind of connected with our belief system, because if you don't believe in if you don't believe in something, like if you don't believe that you could actually become successful in trading, guess what? You're not going to plug in. You're not going to show up to calls. You're not going to, show up to grow up for whatever is in front of you because you don't believe that you can do it. And we only take action on things that we believe in. So Rachel, I really appreciate you for just kind of really diving in on belief itself on this call and just being very open about your process so far and letting people know wherever you're at in your journey is cool. Like you're okay. You just keep plugging in and asking questions and stay curious. The last question I have for you, girl, and then we can close it with any thoughts that you have maybe we missed. But I'd love to hear, maybe I could kind of tie this into two. I'd love to hear what's really been something that's helped you establish a routine and a schedule that includes trading in your day-to-day lifestyle. With your work, with everything that's going on, what's really helped you establish a routine for yourself that has trading, embedded in your schedule?
So for this, I really feel like it's important to be real with yourself about what your non-negotiables are. So I wrote those down. And from there, it's easier to even put it on a calendar. If anything, that's probably the simplest way to be successful is like, hey, lay out what you're going to be doing from this time to this time. And you don't need to be doing a lot. Like I said earlier, it's just those little consistent habits. But a big part of it is actually being actually engaging with what you're doing. Like you said, you don't want to just show up just to not show up. You need to be there. You need to be actively doing what you're doing in order to grow from that. And so for me, to establish some sort of routine, the best part about the platform is that it's set up in a way that you're not supposed to build your life around it. You build that around your life. And that's why it's really flexible. And so even if I'm not getting on the go lives right when they're on, they have the recordings and I can go ahead and plug into that afterwards. It's not like you're cheating yourself by going on a session that's already been live. You're just with that, Sorry, let me segue. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. um, with that, it's important to time block everything. Um, know why you're doing each thing. Don't just do it to do it. Um, and even with work, I do work probably like a lot of the day. It's probably like 9 hours to 10 hours at least that goes into my normal work. And then I just do the live stuff after. It's not, and even if you're trading for the week, you don't have to trade every single day. You can set a schedule for yourself, set aside time. It's not meant for you to like be plugged in like your face is glued to the screen. And so that was a big thing for me before, is like I always felt like I wasn't doing enough, or I was comparing myself to other people who were really, really into trading. And it took me a while to be even like interested. Like I knew the whole concept of where it would take me, but it took me a while to actually be interested in what we were actually doing. So just plugging in and just being consistent, even if it doesn't make sense at first, is going to really cut your learning curve in half, no matter where you're at in your journey. Even if today is your new day one, as long as you keep going and you don't stop, you're going to be able to create a routine that works for you.
Got you, girl. I love that. I love that. Just making time for it. And I think when we can connect the reason why we're doing this with the work, it brings so much more meaning and purpose. And what you said about not only making time, but just understanding that this is supposed to add value to your life. It's not supposed to take anything away, and making it a priority. Like you said,
Yeah.
You don't need to be on the charts. You can if you want to, guys. She's not saying you don't. Like, if you really want to be on the charts, be on the charts as long as you want to. But understand, this is supposed to bring you time freedom. This is supposed to fund areas of your life that you haven't been able to do, whatever that looks like. Okay. But I really appreciate you touching on that, because, we can get overwhelmed with life. Things happen all the time. And I was reading the other day that, the conditions in life, they're never going to be perfect. They're never going to play out to how you see it playing out. And as soon as you just accept that things are going to probably always hit the fan in some degree scenario throughout the day, every day, it's easier for you to accept it and just get it done no matter what. Plug in for 20 minutes if that's all you have. Plug in for an hour if you can. Practice, because the consistency is what's going to compound. Are you going to allow it to compound in your favor, or are you going to stay in the same spot, just in a deeper hole? So, girl, I appreciate you. If you just want to maybe wrap it up with any closing thoughts that we missed, any last thing that you want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I feel like the main thing that I want to touch on, because I know it's been like a reoccurring theme for this whole call, is the whole belief system, or like belief in yourself, really. For a long time, even being around this community every single week, I know I am really consistent with plugging into these calls and actually showing up and stuff. And maybe the results won't come right away, but I just want to say, like, a big thing for me recently, and I know you guys have probably heard it before too, is just don't accept yourself as a supporting role for the other people in your life, because that was the thoughts that were going on through my head. I was seeing everybody else's success, and I always wanted to be that person who was really supportive and all that stuff. But at what point was I going to take control of like the driver's seat of my life and actually make time for the things that I thought were a priority? Because if it is a priority, you're going to make time for it, and there won't be any real excuse. It's just a matter of getting out of this, like, the conversations you have with yourself. And if anything, I know it sounds weird, but you really do have to fake it until you make it. Even like doing personal development, if it feels weird at first, keep doing it, because it's going to make you better. And that goes for trading, that goes for this community, and just everything, really.
Dope, girl. Awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on here. You crushed this call, and by crushed it, I mean you just really poured your heart and soul into all of us, and really just gave us the real and raw of your journey and your process. And that's what people appreciate. We don't want to, like, yes, it's cool to see people winning, and you're winning because you're showing up. I just want everybody to know that. Whether you're actually seeing physical results in your life right now, maybe it's not your season yet, but I want you to know we're playing the infinite game. And the infinite game means when you show up and you stay true to your process and your potential, you're winning. Just always remember that. So I appreciate you for coming on here and having the courage to step up and just, share this part of you with everybody, because it does make an impact. It does go a long way, and you're inspiring more people than you may even realize. So guys, I appreciate you all for being here. Rachel, thanks so much for tuning in. Just want to say one last thing for those that are on here, the schedule and everything. Please make sure you guys have the blueprint, the welcome guide. This is something that's going to be so helpful for everyone to be able to turn back to throughout your journey, just to make sure that you're on track. We do these calls every Sunday, Zoom to Success, with new featured traders. So if you have somebody in mind that you want to see on here, let me know. Put us in a group chat, and let's get it rocking. And the last thing too is we do Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central European time. We do overviews. So if you have anybody that you maybe want to share this with, again, somebody that you care about, that you respect, that you want to see win, and would get value from this, they've got to learn this skill set. They got to get educated financially. Share the links with them. Get them on the calls, and I promise you, they're going to be able to see the value that we have, and they're going to be able to make a decision. And again, as always, guys, if you have any questions, reach out to us. I try to be as available and accessible as possible, just because I know this journey, it can be tough sometimes, but it's so rewarding and worth it when you stay consistent and you keep plugging in and being around good people that are pouring into you. So y'all, you guys have a great Sunday. I appreciate y'all, and I will see you guys in the chats, on the live sessions, catching these pips. Let's go. Peace.